Hello and welcome to Grind Slime TV with me, your host Aaron. And today we've got another Underground Syndicate release for you for reviewing. It's the last one from the package that they sent over. So a big thank you to Underground Syndicate for trusting me with your roster, so to speak. It's been a very eye-opening experience. Very much enjoyed it. So here we have a band from France. But before then, I just want to give a big shout out to the channel Dark Life. It's a fellow countryman of mine who loves his horror, his music, his oddities, and cough sweets. And he even has a couple of ghost stories to throw around here and there too. So if you're into all that kind of stuff, particularly like folk horror and like satanic rituals and things, give him a go. He's a new channel and he needs the support, but he's really like I think he's hit the ground running. He needs a lot more faith in himself. So in honour of Dark Life, I've got my black coffee, no sugar, the way it's meant to be. Burnt my tongue. So now on with today's video, and because he's you type Dark Life into YouTube, you get a million results. So for this one-off, I will leave a link to his page in the description. Go check it out, give him a sub, give him a watch, give him a like, give him a little tickle on that, you know, that bit between the balls and the arsehole, we just get right in there and yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But now we are moving on to this band from France, and it's a death metal band, undeniably death metal as well. This is the band Demonist, and this is by far the best release of the three that Underground Syndicate sent me. This is really cool. I really like this. So, like I say, undeniably death metal, no slow bits. It's mainly mid-paced, but does go fast quite often as well. But it's got a very sort of choppy guitar, very riff heavy, you know. They're all about that sort of thing going on. Really cool. Atmospheric as well, which I quite like. And they're a three-piece. So there we go there, look. So it's a very simple lineup of guitar and vocals, drums and bass, which I think is awesome. I love those three-piece sort of lineups, you know, Dying Fetus, Repulsion, Motorhead, etc., etc. So, no lyrics, unfortunately, but he does sing pretty clearly, which is quite cool. So you can make out most of it, and with a few listens, I'm sure it'll be all drilled in your head. You've got 4 tracks on this EP, all of which are really cool. I wasn't sure what to think of it at first because it's not really my style that I'd go for it, because it's very modern death metal sounding, you know, very clean production, not very dynamic. I mean, the guitars are sort of panned this sort of way, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, but a lot of the background, like most of the drums particularly and the bass, they're all, for the most part, save a couple of cymbals maybe, are panned straight to the middle. So it's quite a flat sound, but they do really well with what they've got. I mean, it's very well produced, not too soapy to the point where it's like really compressed or anything, but like I say, it lacks those sort of dynamics, so it has almost like a bit of a poppy kind of production to it. But that's cool, you know, it is what it is. And for the people wondering, what are you, Aaron, a sound engineer? Yes, I am. So there's that. Now, artwork, really cool. I love that sort of, as I mentioned the other day when I was talking about Emperor, that sort of old school, sort of medieval, macabre, French Renaissance kind of, you know, religious kind of artwork. I think that's really cool. You know, getting all skeletons, they've got a big old basket of lost children and souls and stuff. Really sweet, really cool. Now this record has 2 separate drummers on it. I'm guessing one of them has left and got joined by another, and they got joined by another drummer. So, you know, but you don't notice it when you're listening to it. But musically, if you like the sort of, now remember, this isn't a clone of any of these bands, but there's definitely elements from them where you can be like, oh yeah, that's an influence for sure. You know, so sort of think more modern styled Cannibal Corpse. You know, that very sort of down tuned, heavy riff, heavy. You know, if you know what I mean. You know, so it's got a lot of that going on, but it does every now and then just like jump into some little off the wall technical parts, but not where it outstays its welcome. They're like little feels here and there, and the bass goes along with it, and it's really cool, sort of harmonizing going on between the two. So I really like that about it. Vocals are really cool, just straight up, just mid-ranged death growls, no gimmicks or showing off, nothing like that. It's all just very, you know, so gotta love that. But also when it comes to other stuff, like it reminds me of, I don't know if you're aware of the band Hyperdontia, which I'm probably mispronouncing, but I've got their first album and it's absolutely fantastic. Its name escapes me because the camera's on, and when that happens, because you're focusing on what you're doing, you forget all the names of shit. But really, really cool album. I haven't had their new one yet, but I hear it's really good. So I'll get around to that at some point soon. But yes, and also like Gorguts era sort of, you know, the album From Wisdom to Hate, really good album. Got that. Got over there on vinyl. I got from NWN some years back. Really cool stuff. So there's sort of, it's definitely experimental, but not to the point where they are an experimental death metal band. Okay, so this is definitely, like I say, straight up modern death metal, just making potatoes. Really cool. So I really liked it. You know, it doesn't go into any slow breakdowns. There's no deathcore parts or anything like that for those of you who are, you know, against that sort of thing. But also look at the tape. Boom! It's got that all over print, which I always like to see. And this one, again, like the other one, which was Indicible, it's quite sticky. So maybe I'm guessing the plant they use has a certain method, and it's, but I imagine that'll wear off over time. And like I say, you know, they play absolutely fine. So absolutely all about that. Gotta love it. So yeah, if you're into your modern death metal and you don't want constant blasting, because there's a lot of groove here as well. Sometimes I feel there's a little too much groove for my tastes, but for the sound that these guys are going for, they absolutely smash it. So I really recommend checking this EP out. And for me personally, if this was a full length, I feel like it might be a bit too long and I might get bored. But at 17 minutes with these 4 tracks, it doesn't outstay its welcome. It just fits the bill nicely, and it's like, yeah, that killed 20 minutes quite well. And you know, they'll throw like the odd little bit of like black metal in there, particularly on the 3rd track, Pandemonium. They've got like this little bridge section where it's got these little discordant riffs thrown in there, sort of almost sort of, I don't know, I suppose like Behemoth or Belphegor style, but again, they don't sound like those bands, but you can just notice these little things going on. So I definitely recommend at least giving Demonist a go. It won't be for everybody, particularly because of the production and maybe the style. But for me, like, again, it also reminded me of like Man Must Die from Scotland. They're a cool band, and yeah. So Demonist, self-titled EP. It's on Spotify. I believe it's on YouTube, and you can get this through Underground Syndicate. So thank you for sticking around, and stay tuned for part 5 of Aaron's Top 50. Support the underground. Latest haters.